Welcome to a new edition of To The Point. Initially, on behalf of myself and To The Point crew, would like to extend our deep condolences to all Jordanians for the tragic loss of the Jordanian pilot that was killed brutally at the hands of Daesh. May he rest in peace. This evening we have with us a very distinguished lady who dedicated a good part of her life serving this country. Actually, not just she comes from a family that is renowned for serving Egypt and have quite a strong imprint. With us this evening is Senator Dr.Mona Makram Ebeid-E, who is a former parliamentarian and a professor of political science, and we're going to capitalize on her presence to pick her brains on a number of issues, local and international. Dr. Mona, always a pleasure to have you with us.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Dina.
The circumstances are quite tragic.
Yes.
I know before we came on air you saw the video of the Jordanian pilot that was brutally burnt to death. He was alive and actually burnt to death, and due to the sensitivity and respect for his beloved ones, we don't want to air such a video. But what's your comment?
Comment? How can you have a comment with such brutality, with such savagery? These are not human beings. It's very simple. These are not human beings. They are beasts. They are... I don't want to remember what I saw, because I can't believe what I saw. A man being burnt alive, and then bulldozed in a cage, and bulldozed. What is this? Let's change the subject, and we offer all our condolences to the Jordanians, to the king in particular, who I think you saw him, how he was so devastated by what happened, and so we really offer all our condolences to the Jordanian people and their king.
Terrorism is really mad in this part of the world.
Yes.
And it is aggressively funded by some within this region and others outside.
Absolutely.
When are they going to realize, those who support terrorism, when are they going to realize that if it's initially aimed at us, it will eventually engulf the world at large? It's not just us. When will they realize this?
When they have several tragedies like Charlie Hebdo, like others now, like what happened in Brussels and so on, they will see that terrorism is not limited to our region. What is happening in our region has repercussions internationally. And now they are starting to realize that, and you can see it by the change of attitude towards the government and leadership of Egypt.
Yes.
So now we need all praise for President Sisi, with certain reservations on the same old things, human rights violation and so on. This is not the time to talk about this. I am a member of the National Council for Human Rights. I've been involved in human rights for 25 years.
What are the human rights when it comes to
the Organization for Human Rights? This is not the time now to discuss these violations. We know them, we have reservations, we do not condone them. But now is the time for not only the people of Egypt to feel this solidarity towards not an imagined danger, but a flagrant danger that is going to engulf us all, but for the international community to realize that today we have to be supportive of each other. Today we cannot just sit back and watch what is happening in another country, because anything that happens in any country has its repercussions beyond the borders. So that's what I can say today. But there are other ways also to tackle terrorism. You cannot only tackle it with Apaches and bullets and
security. But what about this way of funding and supporting?
You have to, in a parallel manner also, teach the people the right meaning of their religion, that these people are just being duped by people who are using them. But somebody has to speak out, whether it is the Azhar, whether it's the schools, whether it is the media, and all these together. They are the ones who have to conduct such a war, I would say, against these ideas. And that is also the role of political parties. What are they doing apart from quarreling inside closed rooms?
And we're going to get into the political parties issue in a few minutes.
I mean, this is not the role of only the leader of a country, and he's doing his best, but of the civil society. The civil society is responsible today.
We're still battling this issue of Muslim and Christian. A few moments ago you saw at the end of that atrocious video a message which bore a reward, I believe 1,000 dinars for those who managed to kill a Christian pilot.
Exactly.
What is this? It's not how it's reflecting, but how can we fight this attempt to divide our societies?
And this in particular,
it's a sensitive, we're all religious.
Sensitive, but this is the real manner how to divide our society, is to cause these sectarian clashes. They know it and we know it. But we must be perceptive enough to know that this, I said it, you remember last time, I said this is what I see coming. That they will try to divide between Christians and Muslims in this country. Because it is the only way that they can succeed.
Christians and Muslims and Muslims and Muslims.
Yeah, exactly. But they will give it a try. And that's why we need, people to be aware that there is danger coming, that we are surrounded by danger, and danger is not always mortars or bullets and so on. It is ideas, and more than ideas, implementing these ideas through ordinary people or simple people who don't know anything, and who are religious by nature, whether they're Christians or whether they're Muslims. So we need the whole campaign of raising the awareness of people of what is happening. This is not enough to say that they have, that the radicals here have exposed themselves and the people now are the ones who are fighting them, not the government anymore, but the people themselves who are rejecting them. That's not enough. That's not enough. We, unfortunately, the biggest, the worst legacy that the Mubarak regime has left is not the villas that he took or the money that he has, because we don't care about that.
This is the small stuff.
We don't even know if it's true.
Yes.
But to have left the country with 40% of illiteracy, and I'm being very, very diplomatic, and 30% of people under the line of poverty, this is unforgivable at any rate, any standard, or whatever. So these are the people today who are vulnerable. They are vulnerable to these ideas. They see prices going up. They see the unemployment of their children. They see that, and they are easily manipulated. Of course. So how can you make these people realize that what is at stake is not them, it's their country?
Whose role is it to make them realize that, especially the youth, which have a lot of energy?
Civil society, organizations, political parties, and so on, and we have a lot of NGOs here, and they should make it their main objective. Raise the awareness of people of the dangers that are there, of the spreading of false interpretations of religion and give them the real interpretation of their religion. I think it's, of course, the state must play a role. Obviously, it has to encourage the media, the culture ministry. All these have to play a role. So this is not a small, this is not small fish. This is a very big and serious problem. And where you can say a nation in danger.
We have an economic summit that is supposed to be taking place mid-March. And one of the agendas of those terrorist groups is to ensure that
to torpedo it.
This is torpedoed, and the parliamentary elections which will be following, and this is the final leg of our roadmap, will also not materialize.
No, but the first leg of the last leg is going to be before the economic summit. So you will have one phase of the rest.
The whole issue is we don't want the summit so that we don't get the investor and we don't get the economic vehicle back on track, and we don't want the parliamentary elections because that means you completed your roadmap, and this is also not wanted because both are signs of stability.
Absolutely.
They're a way to stability.
Absolutely.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
If we talk initially about the economic summit and